Shell Ford, Joey Logano, and the winning crew chief, Todd Gordon. Joey, this win is your second win of the season, officially locking you in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series chase. Being a rookie in the chase, or being in the chase last year for the first time, talk a little bit about what it means to be locked in at this point in the season.
It means a lot, we kind of thought, with one win you're going to be, all but locked in, but this really secures you, like you said, and having a couple of wins this early in the season, and in two completely different racetracks, make you very confident for the rest of the season. And at this point, we really have nothing to lose. It's just all about going for wins and having fun out there and making sure we're ready for when the chase starts. So we've put ourselves in a good position already, this early in the season, and ready to have some fun.
And Todd, talk about that last restart. I know Joey was about fourth or fifth, I think, in the rundown. Talk a little bit about your thoughts, and did you think you guys would be in victory lane at the end of the night?
Yeah, I thought we had a good shot at it. Honestly, if you looked at it on any of the restarts that were leading up to that, we would typically. I mean, we had taken a lead a couple different restarts earlier, and we'd run about 20-25 laps before we'd lose a little front turn. So 25 to go when that last caution came out. I felt pretty good about our opportunity there. I thought Matt drove a heck of a race, and but he kind of checked us up on that on the second to last restart, and we lost some spots. And actually, I think it helped us out because it got him mad, and he drives really well when he's mad, and got us in the outside groove. And got to thank Brad because Brad really went up there and raced his guts out to get around the 24 and get to Matt. And I mean, Joey does a really good job closing. I think that's one thing that's impressed me most in the last year and a little bit. So I knew we had a shot at it. It just it all kind of lined up for us.
All right. We'll go ahead and take questions for Joey or Todd. Do we have any questions downstairs or up in the press box to kick us off? Okay, we'll go to the press box for our first question.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. Joey, I guess there's been a lot of reasons why there's been good finishes, but there have been a lot of them this year. Obviously, there's some cautions that set them up sometimes, but it seems like every week there's some exciting close finish. Why do you think that is? What do you think's going on, and what's different this year?
Well, I think you see the race cars. Obviously, those are the big difference from last year. Obviously, but I think just a lot of times just the way these races have been coming down to these cautions at the end, it makes it so crazy. And I felt like in that long run before the last couple cautions there, we started losing our track position. I was like, man, I need to really hold off these guys the best I can because it's going to be my only shot when the late race caution comes out. Because I was really thinking there was going to be another one. Really because I felt like the tire, someone was going to blow one out before the end of the race, and there'll be a caution for that reason, and that's what happened. And at that point, like Todd said, that's my opportunity, and I didn't have a very good restart, and then I was pretty mad about it, and then after that I had a decent restart, but the 88 didn't have the best one in front of me, and and then I was watching them all race in front of me, and I was like, okay, well, here's my shot. And the 2 car was really, really fast up top, and he was, really good on restarts all night. And the 20 realized it, and the 20 was, blocking him. And eventually, I kind of seized parted because I got all the air on the nose while they're both up there racing each other. And I was just able to turn underneath them and pass both of them in one shot. So it worked out pretty good for me.
All right. Do we have any questions for Joey downstairs? Okay, let's get a mic to Jim Utter, please, and then Mike. No.
Jim Utter, Charlotte Observer. This is actually for both of you. 1 year or less than probably 6 months ago, you were battling down to the wire to make the chase for the very first time. Now, less than 6 months later, you're in a position where you're basically guaranteed a shot to compete for the championship. Could you just, both of you, talk a little bit about how much your team and your combination has come in a very short period of time?
I think, you got a notebook now, and I think Todd really understands what I need in a race car and what we got to do, and, what we need to go fast. And really, you look at Darlington was our our worst race of the year, really, to be honest with you. And we were still a very good car. We led a lot of laps. But that was the one racetrack that we really didn't have any notes to go off of. And you know, this, as we come to these racetracks over and over again, we got something to build off of. We know what we fought last time, and we're able to overcome it. You know, if you look at the fall race here last year, we were really bad, and you know, we were going down laps, and to come back the year later, or not even, you know, 6 months later, and you're, you know, up here battling for wins, and you get a win. That's, you know, I feel like we've got to know each other. We know what each other's like and what we need in a race car, and our team's just building off of that. And you know, obviously Team Penske's putting together great race cars, and we're capitalizing on it.
If we can get
A lot of the same pieces there. I think the biggest part is that when you come back to, I think if you look at last year, the first half of the year when we went to racetracks for the first time, we were decent, but we weren't at the level we were at the second half of the season. I thought when we turned down the second half of the season, you know, we got an opportunity to come back to Michigan. We won, sat on the pole and won, but had a really good race car the first time. But we had the notebook to build off of, and we came back to it. So we continue. I think this whole race team, not only just the 22 Shell Pennzoil team, but the Team Penske, you know, we're focused on what we need to be successful, and that's I think the chemistry, not only between Joey and myself, but I think between Joey and Brad and Paul and myself, to continue to grow. And I think as we've gotten more successful, it's allowed us, all of our organization, to have more confidence in the notebooks of each other and how we build off of each other. And that's the piece I think that it allows us to continue to build and push each other. It's proven successful. I think both of our cars had a shot at winning that thing at the end of the day. I think if we weren't in a position, I think Brad was going to race the 20 pretty hard. So we've had speed every week, and I think it's just a continuation of chemistry of communication.
All right, we'll go upstairs for another question.
Hey, Joey, it's Hank Kurz with AP. 9 laps to go. It seems crazy to talk about patience, but you're surrounded by former champions. You're obviously looking for something to dart through. How much do you kind of have to measure yourself and make sure you make the right move, and see the move that's available when it is, you know, just to make it work?
You know, anytime you're down the end of the race, really there's no patience. It's wide open, and obviously I was able to see that in front of me. And I wanted to make sure I was close enough for when something happened, I was able to take advantage of it. And that's what I was able to do. You know, restarts, anything. It comes down to the end of the race. Patience are out the window. It's all about just go for it. And I think that's what fans want. That's what you got this year. You know, you got the new point system. Everyone just goes for wins. You got these late race cautions, and everyone's got the same attitude. Everyone's, you know, the heck with it. You know, if we crash, we crash. We're going for wins.
All right, Mike, go ahead.
Frontstretch.com. Joey, heard from a couple guys on pit lane after the race that even though this is a short track, that if they pulled in behind people going into one, they were losing the nose completely, probably because of the high speeds. Were you having that as well, where if you had a good run going on somebody but you got tucked in behind them, you were losing the nose?
It was tough. It was really tough out there, and you know, it's still a good race, even though we were really fighting air all night long. And you know, my car is good enough that I was able to move up the racetrack and still kind of turn across cars and be able to pass them that way. But late in the run, you know, when you got no tire grip, all you're relying on is air. And then even catching a lap car, like a few times, you know, a car I'd catch from ways back, and I'd get to him and just stop. You know, I'm stuck, and I can't get closer, and I gotta wait for him to, you know, give me a you know, half a lane, or sometimes even less on the inside, just to get some air on the nose of the car, and then I can kind of hook the yellow line and at least get close enough to him to you know, kind of take the air off his car. And then go from there. So it's an aero battle out there, you know, just like it is any other place we go to, and you know, that's what we deal with, you know, and that's why you have to the whole time you're racing someone, you're thinking about, okay, how can I put him in a bad spot? How can I get a little bit closer? What do I need to do to, you know, because the typical stuff you learned growing up, you know, as far as, you know, late model racing and stuff like that, and how you pass a car, it's completely different when you get to this level. When you're relying on air so much, you really got to learn to pass cars in a completely different way.
All right, we'll go back upstairs for a question.
Joey Chris Knight, Catchmats.com. Just curious, this is your 5th career Sprint Cup Series victory. Just wondering where this stands as far as your career goes, knowing the circumstances with the chase and all.
Where this stands as far as all the other ones?
Yeah.
They're all great. I've never had a bad one before, and obviously coming to a racetrack that I don't feel like myself as a driver was very good at. And I told Todd after practice, actually while we were switching over to qualifying trim during practice, I said, this is the best car we've had in practice since Michigan, and I felt really good about that. I'm like, man, I think we could win this thing, and that's saying a lot at a place like this for me. And I had to make sure I back that up. But we talked this morning even, and I said, man, I feel a lot more confident about today going into the race if we were at a mile and a half or somewhere that we've proven ourselves and kind of know which way the track's going to go and know the adjustments we need to make to run well in the race. And then here I'm like, yeah, I don't have a great feel for what adjustments we needed, and I think Todd was the same way. I think the both of us were just kind of, we talked it out and just kind of went with it, and our car drove fairly similar to what we had in practice. And beginning of the race, we started 17th. We drove up to the top 10 fairly quick, and then just kept making some little adjustments here and there, and able to get the car a little bit better, and then able to capitalize on restarts is the biggest thing that was able to get us that track position, and you had to just kind of secure it and kind of hold off what you can on the long run.
Any additional questions for Joey downstairs? Okay, if we can get a mic to Mike, please.
This one's actually for Todd. Mike Neff from FrontStretch.com again. Todd, I noticed this morning when we came in at 8, whatever it was, for the K&N race, that if you looked at the track, there really was no noticeable amount of rubber on the track, even though they had run 250 laps on those tires with the Nationwide cars. Did that play any kind of a role in how aggressive or not aggressive you were with camber with these tires, knowing that they weren't really rubbering up the track?
Yeah, we looked at the race last night, and I kind of dampened our thoughts on what happened there. With the race starting at 10:30 or 10:40 or whatever it was last night, it was track temperature was really cold. I think you had a similar situation last night to what we had at Martinsville earlier this year, where it was so cold that the track would never take rubber. The track surface has got to get hot enough that the rubber will actually get into it. So, I watched the Nationwide race last night, and obviously with the 22 Nationwide car and Blaney driving it, we kind of had some ins on what was going on. We had calmed ourselves down on camber throughout practice, and really didn't see. We found balance with it. So we had already worked our way kind of conservatively. I won't say overly conservatively because we showed cords about every run today, but we showed a little, not a lot. But it's I was hoping that it was going to be warm enough that we get some rubber in the racetrack, and I think the track took a little, but it didn't take a ton, and it never really made that big jump of taking us from 50 some laps of showing just a weep of cords to usually if the track will take rubber, you'll see that turn into a 100-lap run. Didn't see it, but we were aware of it. Kind of had built ourselves into a box that that's where the new aero package and the new ride heights and everything that we've done differently to this year's car has now put a lot back in my hands of risk and reward. Goodyear does an awesome job for us in building good race tires, but they're in a box that gets smaller as we make these cars go faster as far as what they can do. So then that becomes part of my job to manage the risk that we want to take for performance. And I think we hit the number we needed to tonight. I thought the Hendrick cars probably did a little better job than we did on the long run as far as managing that, but knew that this race traditionally, if you look at stats, comes down to a short run, and didn't want to give up the speed from that.
All right. Any additional questions for Joey or Todd upstairs and downstairs? All right. Congratulations, guys, again. And thought the racetrack had something for you, but maybe they'll give it to you. You're good.
Cool. Oh, cool. Oh, that's awesome.
Heck yeah.
Check that out. I'm not much of a football player, but that's pretty cool.
It's awesome,
huh?
Yeah.
Cool.
Pretty
Thank you.
awesome.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.